When I'm having low moments in my career, a call will go out to Nikhil Kamath as well. And we've had a lot. I've known him for like 3 years now because I had him on my show once. Then we just stayed in touch. I have about 2 or 3 people who I'll call to ask for advice. So that's John Abraham, Nikhil Kamath, and I have a cricketer friend of mine.
Why do you think Nikhil Kamath started with podcasting? It's not for money, certainly. So why do you think he did that?
I know him really well. I've hung out with him a lot. So I'll tell you what I think as not just a professional but also as a friend. He's one of the most well-read people that I know in terms of just the pure quantum of data that he has read in his life is more than the average person. It's more than most of the people I've had on my show. There's probably the top 1 percentile. So if I've done 800 episodes, there's probably 8 people I'd put in that category of knowledge levels. He's at that level of knowledge actually in his own head, and he's an introverted guy, doesn't express himself much. In that Maslow's needs hierarchy, he's also in that self-actualization part of it. He's just trying to discover life. He also understands the power of content creation and independently run media channels. So there's definitely that professional aspect where it doesn't harm anyone to have a bit of a digital following. You remember when I'd spoken about you on the podcast, I'd said that, in terms of journalists, there are very few people who've transitioned into like new age media. It also applies to other professions. So there's very few business owners of his size who've transitioned into being a part of new age media. That's the professional aspect. But I genuinely believe he is just doing this to learn more about domains as well as become a more self-actualized human. People have different ways to do that. Personally, for me, it's spiritual conversations that I have with monks. For him, it's about learning how the world works better. And I think it's worked in his favor because he's literally become like the standout intellectual leader of the business world in our country.
How do shy and introverted people put out such fabulous content where they put themselves out? How does that happen?
I think they're better listeners than they're speakers. That's why they're shy and introverted in the first place. At least, and I'm not an introverted person, but I've noticed this about all the introverted people I know, that they're much better observers, and I think that that's the basis of asking great questions. So, again, speaking about Nikhil, one of the keenest observers that I've come across.
Click here to watch the full episode.